Why you do this? Understand yourself. You're not single because you haven't found the right person. You're single because there's something you're making sure they never see. And you already know exactly what that is. You don't say it out loud. You don't even fully articulate it to yourself. But it's there, that one thing, that version of you, that detail, that history, that insecurity, that feeling of, if they knew this, everything would change. So you manage it, you filter yourself, you adjust how you show up. You keep certain things hidden. Not dramatically, subtly, strategically, and from the outside, it looks like you're doing everything right. You're attractive enough, you're interesting enough, you're put together enough. But something never fully connects. It gets close, but not real, and you don't understand why it keeps falling apart. Because on paper, nothing is wrong. But here's the truth most people avoid. It's not what you're hiding that's ruining your chances. It's how you're hiding it. And by the end of this, you're going to see exactly how this pattern works. And why the thing you're protecting is the exact thing blocking real connection. You've felt this before. You meet someone, there's potential, there's curiosity, there's energy, and for a moment, it feels easy. You talk, you connect, you laugh, you feel seen, but only partially. Because even in those good moments, you're managing yourself. You're deciding what to say, what not to say, how much to reveal, when to hold back. You share enough to be interesting, but not enough to feel exposed. You stay in control, because control feels safe, and the connection builds, but it never fully lands. There's always a slight distance, a subtle tension, like something is being held back. Because it is, and you feel it, they feel it too, even if they can't explain it. This is not random behavior. It's a system, a very intelligent one. You learned at some point that being fully seen is risky. So your brain created a filter, a social filter. It scans constantly. What version of me is safe to show here? What version might get rejected? So you curate yourself, not fake, but selective. And this is where something shifts. Because now connection is not natural. It's managed. You're not just being with someone. You're performing a controlled version of yourself. And performance creates distance, even if it's subtle. Because real connection requires unpredictability. And you've removed that. You've made yourself safe, but also unreachable. And then comes the moment that activates everything. They get closer, not physically, emotionally. They ask something deeper. They show real interest. They try to see you, not the version you've been presenting. And something in you tightens. Instantly, you feel it in your chest. Your thoughts speed up. You become hyper-aware. What do I say? How much do I reveal? What if this changes how they see me? And now the interaction shifts. You slow down. You deflect. You redirect. You give partial answers. You keep things surface level again. And just like that, the depth disappears. Not because they pulled away. Because you did. This is not just psychological. Your body is fully involved. Because vulnerability triggers your nervous system. It reads exposure as potential danger. Not logically, emotionally. Your system remembers moments. Times you were judged. Times you felt not enough. Times where being seen didn't feel safe. So now, when someone gets close, your body prepares for impact. You feel tension. You feel alert. You feel the urge to protect yourself. And protection doesn't always look like running away. Sometimes it looks like subtle control. Holding back information. Changing the topic. Keeping things light. Staying likable, but not known. And that feels safe. But safety is not connection. So your mind creates a story. A logical one. I just haven't met the right person. I need to work on myself first. I'm not fully ready for something serious. And again, these sound valid. They sound mature, but they also keep you stuck. Because they delay exposure. They justify holding back. They make avoidance feel intentional, instead of protective. And here's the trap. You think you need to become better before you can be fully seen. But that creates an endless loop. Because better is always moving. There's always something to fix. Something to improve. Something to hide until it's ready. And while you're doing that, real connection never gets a chance to form. This is the pattern you repeat. You meet someone. You feel potential. You show a version of yourself. They respond well. The connection builds. They get closer. They ask deeper questions. You feel exposed. You pull back slightly. You manage the interaction. You reduce vulnerability. They feel the shift. They become less open. The connection loses depth. Things fade. And you're left confused. Because nothing bad happened. But something was missing. Inside you, there are two forces. One wants to be fully seen, fully known, fully accepted, the other wants to avoid rejection at all costs. And both feel real, both feel valid. One says, open up. The other says, be careful. And you try to balance them, but you can't fully satisfy both. Because real connection requires risk, and risk triggers fear, so you stay in the middle, half open, half protected, never fully in, never fully out, and that's exhausting. Here's the loop: attraction, connection, interest, emotional closeness, trigger, fear of exposure, controlled behavior, reduced openness, emotional distance, loss of depth, fading connection, self-reflection, I just haven't met the right person. Repeat, again, and again, and again, until it feels like this is just how dating works. This didn't start with dating. It started with how you learned to be accepted. At some point, you felt like certain parts of you weren't okay. Too much, not enough, wrong in some way, so you adapted, you shaped yourself, you filtered yourself, you learned what to show, and what to hide, and that worked. It helped you navigate people. But now it's limiting you. Because adult connection requires something different. Not perfection, not control, but honesty. This is where it stops being behavior, and becomes who you think you are. Not loudly, quietly, subtly. I'm just a private person. I don't open up easily. I take time to trust people. And on the surface, that sounds healthy. It sounds grounded. It sounds self-aware. But here's what most people miss. Sometimes, private is just protected. Sometimes, slow to open is actually fear of being seen. Sometimes, taking your time is just delaying exposure. And once that becomes identity, you stop questioning it, you stop challenging it, because now it's not something you do. It's something you are, and identity is powerful, because it shapes your decisions automatically. You don't even think about opening up. You default to holding back. You default to control. You default to safety. And over time, you don't even realize how much you're filtering yourself. It just feels natural, but natural doesn't mean true. It means practiced. Now here's the shift that actually matters. The thing you're hiding is not what's making you unlovable. It's not the flaw. It's not the insecurity. It's not your past. It's not that one detail you think would change everything. Because everyone has something. Everyone has parts they're unsure about. Everyone has things they've struggled with. That's not what breaks attraction. What breaks attraction is the tension around it, the way you hold it, the way you guard it, the way you subtly adjust yourself to keep it hidden. Because that creates distance, and people feel distance immediately. Even if they can't explain it, they just feel like they can't fully reach you. And here's the relief: you don't need to remove the flaw. You don't need to fix everything first. You need to stop treating it like a disqualifier. Because the moment you stop hiding something out of shame, it loses most of its power. So now we get practical. Not big changes, not dramatic confessions, small shifts, controlled exposure. You don't reveal everything. You reveal slightly more than you normally would. One layer deeper, one level more honest, one answer that's less filtered. And then you pause. You don't immediately correct it. You don't over-explain it. You don't try to fix how it landed. You stay in the moment. Because this is where your system learns. It learns that being seen doesn't equal rejection. It learns that honesty doesn't equal loss of control. And here's the key: you're not trying to impress anymore. You're testing reality. You're gathering new data. Can I be a little more real and still be accepted? That question changes everything. Now we refine it further. Because vulnerability is misunderstood, it's not dumping your entire life story. It's not trauma sharing too early. It's not overexposing yourself. That's not connection. That's overwhelm. Real vulnerability is precision. It's saying what's true, without over-editing it. It's responding honestly, instead of strategically. It's allowing small imperfections to exist, without immediately correcting them. Because here's what actually builds attraction: consistency between what you feel and what you show. When those match, people relax around you. Because you feel real, not perfect, not polished, not controlled, but real. And real creates trust faster than perfection ever could. Here's the real solution. Not theory, not mindset, actionable. You stop asking, how do I fix this part of me? And you start asking, how do I relate to this part differently? Because the issue is not the flaw, it's the shame attached to it. So instead of hiding it, you neutralize it. You stop treating it like a secret. You stop building your behavior around protecting it. You let it exist, without controlling the interaction. And here's what happens: your energy changes. You stop scanning for reactions. You stop overthinking every response. You stop adjusting yourself constantly. And that creates something powerful. relaxed presence, and relaxed presence is attractive. Not because it's perfect, but because it signals confidence. Not loud confidence, quiet certainty. I'm okay being seen, and that is what creates real connection. You don't need to become someone else to be loved. You don't need to remove every flaw. You don't need to reach some perfect version of yourself first, because that version doesn't exist. And even if it did, it wouldn't create real connection. What creates connection is letting yourself be seen before you feel fully ready. Not all at once, not recklessly, but honestly, because the right person doesn't connect with your performance. They connect with your reality, your contradictions, your imperfections, your humanity. And when you stop hiding those, something shifts. You stop chasing connection and start allowing it. So here's the question. Be brutally honest. What part of yourself are you still protecting? That might actually be the exact thing someone is waiting to connect with.